Hey, how you doing? Adam here. The date is currently 8/18/2017. I just tried to make one before this, but I seem to have lost all my ability to talk on these things. Like I'm reverting back to how I was when I was like, or I don't know, like it's hard to believe this was like 4 years ago, but 4 years ago when I started doing these things in like 2013, 14, 15, 16, yeah, okay, 4 years. For a second I was like, no, I thought it was 5 years for a second. But yeah, I was starting to like revert back to my like, 2013 self, where I couldn't say, well, I guess like 2013 and before that self, where I couldn't really like say anything because I was like so self-conscious about what I was saying. I think that has to do with that thing Jordan Peterson's always saying about how you shouldn't say things that make you weak. And, I think that applies here. Like, I shouldn't talk about things that, like, I just feel myself lying, that, like, when you're saying something, it's like, this is so not interesting, and I'm so not interested in saying it. But, the thing is like, the things that I really want to talk about are just myself. Like, I find, when I talk about what I'm doing, like the little fucking, cutting out wheat out of my diet. Well, actually, when I was talking about that, because I was trying to talk about that in the last journal, but it didn't seem to be going that well. Like, it wasn't, invigorating me or whatever. So maybe I don't actually like talking about that, but, I don't know what I like talking about, and I don't know if I like music or not either. Like sometimes I go through these phases where it's, I don't know if they're I don't know if you could call it a phase, but I just go through these things where it's like, is my heart even in this? Because it just sometimes it just doesn't feel like that. But then when I think that, I always think back to this something that Bill Burr said. He was, it was some kind of advice thing that he was given to one of the people that was listening to the podcast, and he was saying that the guy was saying, I start things and then I just completely lose interest in them, and Bill Burr was saying like, yeah, that's how it goes, It's the starting things is easy, but it's the perseverance that counts to get the thing done. And that's where I kind of feel like I'm at with this album. It's just, I just have to persevere through it. I don't have that much more to go on it. I've got like 3 lines of lyrics left to write. And, it's just scaring me to think about, because I was just watching this video on YouTube of this guy, and then, like, he had all these channels, his comment section of a YouTube channel. The YouTube video was like, should you start a YouTube channel in 2017? So, it was naturally going to be people, like, advertising their channels in the comments. Because, that's a good excuse to just say things. And there were a bunch of these channels that were like, come see my channel. And, all of them were god-awful. Like, I had no interest in watching any of them. And I'm just like, is that me? God, that's going to be me, isn't it? But, I think the mistake that they were making was that they just were making no attempt to be entertaining. Like the one music channel, the guy was just like, it was just like this 7-minute long video of him making these like boring, like computer beats or whatever. And I had no interest in watching it. But, could that be me is the question. Are these songs boring? And I'm putting so much thought into how to make them as entertaining as I possibly can. Like, I don't want to lose your attention while you're listening to it. I may go to 20 minutes tonight. I'm not sure. But, yeah, so I'm afraid that that's me. And, like, I'm just never going to snap out of it, I'm never going to have a life. But, we'll see where the Nofap thing goes. I'm doing that again, by the way. And, Nofap, I still hate that name, but Nofap and No Wheat. And, well, the wheat, I had a couple relapses with the wheat. Or no, not a couple, just one relapse with the wheat, where there was this like 3-day period where I was just eating it again. And, that wasn't good because, the symptoms came back. A weird effect from this is that my teeth kind of feel stronger. I can't, it's hard to describe in what way that they feel stronger, but they definitely feel stronger in some way. And, I just have no, like, abdominal bloating anymore. And, the fat around my abdomen seems to be decreasing. So I'm happy about that. That was happening. There's, I go through these periods. Actually, what I noticed was, on the journals where I was always talking about feeling fantastic, I realized that what I was eating during those periods was mostly chicken. Like, I was cooking a lot of chicken in the oven, like baking it. And I was eating minimal wheat. And just, for some reason over the past few months, I've just been, like, I felt like shit. Like, my condition seems to have gone, like, deteriorated even more. And I realized what I was doing was, I was eating a lot of whole wheat pasta. Like, every night I was eating pasta. And I think that's why. Because, I think I must have some kind of allergy to wheat or something. Because as soon as I stopped eating it, like 2 days later, I was just feeling much better. I still, for some reason, I actually still have some symptoms right now. There's still some weirdness going on with my sinuses that I'm not entirely sure what it is. But, it's getting better, so happy about that. I'm just hoping, like, if I do this for a month, both, the no masturbating and the fucking no wheat, like, just, maybe it'll just fucking wake something up in my head, because, I feel like I'm kind of wasting my life here, and there doesn't seem to be any way out of this. So I'm just hoping, just make a bunch of, like, small good decisions where I've done that, actually, like last year. Quit smoking. Big good decision there, I think. And, also fix my diet. And now it's, I'm making more good decisions with the quitting wheat and also masturbating. Because, there's a lot of, I would be skeptical of the masturbation thing if there weren't so many stories, like on those Your Brain on Porn site. There's just like thousands of stories on there from people that have had success with it. And so, it's worth a shot. So we'll see about that. I've been doing it for, like, I guess 2.5 weeks now, and I've had a couple relapses, so 2 of them to be exact. So, I've had to start over. So I'm just, I'm hell bent on being good with it this time. Yeah, but other than that, I have these pictures on my wall. One is of a skyscraper, one is of a nuclear explosion, one is of Spider-Man saving Mary Jane from, the first Spider-Man movie, and another one is of 2 dolphins, like silhouettes of dolphins and a palm tree and a sunset. And, they're just pictures that I thought would help me, like, be inspired or whatever. So I remember hearing somewhere that Brian Wilson had, like, a sandbox next to his piano when he was writing songs, and he would use that as inspiration. So, I thought maybe I should put some things that, I feel that I've grabbed out of my subconscious. I'm afraid that I'm getting old. That's a terrifying feeling. Especially when I feel like I've wasted my youth. But, hopefully, I'm just hoping that they figure something out, with some sort of technology that can fucking restore people's youths. Because I think more than anything, more than, like, anything, I think that's probably what depresses people most, is just the loss of youth and just being old and fucking repulsive. And just, just your whole life is just a fucking most of your life, I should say, is just a slow downward death. You get this brief sort of like moment, and then just most of it is downhill and fucking shitty. And there needs to be round the clock work 24/7 to make that. And the worst part is that people have no like sympathy for you either. Like, it should be seen as like Albert E. Ray says, it's a disease. It's not fucking, it's a disease. It should be seen as a disease, and people should have sympathy for you, and not like, you're a blah 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 now. You should be seen as sort of like a dilapidated 20-year-old. That's how you should be seen your whole life. Because, I don't know. Life phases are always changing. They're always evolving. Yeah, so I've had more like thoughts in my head that I can't remember at the moment. And I said we're going to go to 20 minutes, didn't I? I can't remember any of the thoughts. I took my blood pressure today, and it was 115/74 with a 64 pulse, which is a far, far cry from what it was like a couple years ago in the hospital, which was like 190/120. I was anxious, of course, then, but, I don't think it's ever good to have blood pressure that high. So, I was happy about the good blood pressure. I can't go to 20 minutes. I'm going to have this album done by September 10th. That's when I'm going to have this album done. That was my pact with the divine, was to get it done by September 10th. So, that's what I'm going to do. Actually, September 11th, but, Okay, goodbye.